I heard a rumor.
Yeah.
Matt, you got Bitcoin? Matt, you got Bitcoin?
Oh, okay. We it's not. Last time we tried to talk about crypto in the opening of an episode, didn't it become cursed and get deleted?
Hold on, Matt.
I'm okay. I'm like a circa 2016 to 2018 crypto guy. I'm not a modern crypto guy. Let me set the record straight.
But you still got Bitcoin?
Yeah, I got some Bitcoin.
What that Bitcoin worth?
No, he has a bit of coin. That's what he told us before. He has a bit of coin. Don't put my man under the bus like that.
What's one Bitcoin worth?
It's like 15K right now. It's basically pennies compared to the 50K at the top it was.
Okay, so wait, you got a lot of Bitcoin?
Hey man, all I'm saying is I've got a bit of coin.
So Matthew's address is 421 South.
Because here's what I'm saying.
Okay,
you were slinging the arrows of misfortune at Harry Potter, being a rich boy, giving candy to Ron Weasley. When you're here with 15 grand Bitcoin,
and I'm poor.
Here's my little palms.
So Jake ended the last episode saying he doesn't have health insurance, and my man over here got Bitcoin.
What do you want me to do? Pay for it? Like buy him private health insurance?
Yes,
Matthew. If I could choose between having health insurance and having Bitcoin, I would choose health insurance, guys. Please, for the love of God,
Matt. Why doesn't the Tough Cut Pod give insurance to its podcasters?
Okay, look, we're an early
to its
stage
star
riddle me that.
Okay, we're an early stage startup. We haven't yet figured out all the benefits for the company. We've keep bleeding employees, so it's really just like it's tough on me right now. How much money have I put up, to front this brand?
No, how do you
on
think
an international stage?
Me feel when Gary, our intern, has health insurance and I don't. How do you think
it from his wife?
Okay, well then I need to marry his wife. Sorry, Gary.
That can be arranged. I'm ordained. We can do that like live.
Okay, all right.
He's getting up.
Hey, tough cuties, would you be interested in a live wedding to get Jake insurance?
This is our wedding stream to get Jake insurance.
Yeah. We'll do the wedding stream. We'll do the wedding stream right after we do the Sonic script stream. When we get 3 more tweets to read this.
Here's the thing. One day it's gonna happen because the new Sonic movie is gonna drop whenever it comes, or even the new Sonic game came out, so Sonic's on the mind.
Oh yeah, Sonic Frontiers.
Someone's gonna do it, and on that Sonic costume, it's sitting getting dust. I spent like $100 on that thing.
It's not getting dust. You wear it every night.
I run around the neighborhood like.
Wait, okay. I should say, Matt, you're Sonic. Jake, who are you gonna be? I feel like I should be Eggman.
I feel like you should be Eggman too.
That's
man.
Cute. I like that.
I mean,
Oh, you're James Marsden.
No, James Marsden is James Marsden.
Oh, right. I forgot we agreed to get him on the show.
Yeah, James Marsden is James Marsden. I mean, I'll be Shadow. I'm the closest thing to Shadow y'all got.
I'm not. You know what? That's not a joke. I'm touching.
You're not touching that one.
Yeah, well, we'll figure out the logistics when the time comes, but know that's on our radar. Oh my god,
that's how you got a bit of coin, because you're Sonic and you're fast to get coins. It all makes sense now.
Sonic collects rings.
Hello and welcome back. We're the Tough Cut Podcast, and I'm Matthew.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Shadow today, baby.
Shadow. And this is episode 85, part 4 of our childhood fears bracket. Coming at you in today's episode, we've got quite the finale. It is Coraline versus Pan's Labyrinth. But before we get to that, we've got some honorable mentions. There were some other spooky things that scared Alex as a kid. And there's plenty of things that scared you guys. So
everyone just said,
wow.
I yield my time to Alex. That's what everyone said in the honorable mentions today. It was really, they knew that he'd have a long list. Well, first off, spoilers for these and the movies we mentioned in the finale. We'll probably be talking about shenanigans that go on in these movies. And also, thank you guys. You gave a lot of good honorable mentions, a lot more than we usually get, so we appreciate y'all. It's either a good bracket or you guys really are starting to believe in the cause. I choose to believe in the latter. Yeah,
So we want me to kick this off?
absolutely.
So, okay, getting into it. I think, truth be told, I actually don't have that many movies that I was scared of as a kid. And the reason
weren't
being,
allowed to watch them.
it's not that I wasn't allowed to watch them. They just were never put in front of me. Like, if I was like, hey, I want to watch Saw 6. Is there a Saw 6?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I didn't know if it was called Saw 6 or like which one is Spiral. Is Spiral 7 or 8?
9.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, Saturday is going to be a long day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That's the idea.
So, like, I don't really have that many movies that scared me as a kid because I didn't really watch them. One that kind of scared me, but I saw it when I was like a little bit, like I was kind of old enough to see it, so it wasn't super scary, was the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Those skeleton zombies, they spooky.
Yeah.
They are kind of spooky.
But like, that's a great movie. I definitely am not scared of it now, but man, it's so fun. It's such a good one.
Yeah,
For a second,
we
I thought
talked
you were
about
going
that
to say Gore
extensively.
Verbinski's mouse hunt.
That would have scared me, but for different reasons.
Yeah, and we talked about that movie extensively in our Pirates bracket.
Mouse Hunt? Probably.
Actually, probably. Yeah. Ironically, probably.
Yeah, but if you like Pirates of the Caribbean, go check out our Pirates bracket.
It's a really good one. It's a banger.
It's a good movie.
You guys got any, or you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I can throw out Dr. Strangelove and How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. The threat of nuclear annihilation, it's a lot to come to grips with as a child.
Cool.
I'm kidding. That movie fucking rules.
I couldn't tell if you were serious. I'm going to be completely honest.
I have seen it, and I also wrote a couple papers about it in college.
Oh, I thought you meant like as a kid to try to compartmentalize your fear. Like your parents sat you down and they're like, listen, little Matthew, in order to get your fear, you have to write an essay. And I expect it in APA format and due by noon.
True. Many people are saying this. But no, the scene in Neverending Story where that horse dies is pretty crazy.
That's pretty metal, yeah.
I don't think that movie really scared me, but like that scene, I remember being like,
I think it did scare you, and I think you're putting up a brave front.
Thank you.
Well,
I am really pretty brave.
Speaking of horses, did we mention horse? Anyway, speaking of horses, a movie that I don't know, man, my brain's mush. A movie that scared me as a kid was The Brothers Grimm, and it's with Heath Ledger as the lead. And it goes through all like the Brothers Grimm like stories that are the original, like like the princess, and, like Little Red Riding Hood, but it's like the macabre versions. And great Heath Ledger performance, all this stuff. There's just a scene where a horse gets pregnant by spiders.
That'll do it.
And there's like a scene where like the horse opens its mouth and you could see spiders crawling on it and the webs inside, and then it like gives birth to like this really scary gingerbread man. It haunted me for a long time. That scene like lives in my head rent free. Anytime like I get my like random bouts of I'm genuinely very scared of spiders. Let me think of all the spiders that have ever scared me. That is one of them. So I honestly do really like the movie though. Like upon like a rewatch, I just hate that scene. Obviously, it's a really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, maybe I'll put it in a bracket. But I do recommend it.
I have not. What it makes me think of though.
What it makes me think of.
In the like early to mid 2000s, I feel like societally we went through a phase where we were making a lot of like
fractured fairy tales.
Yeah, like edgy fairy tales. There are like 8 ones with about Snow White. I feel like
I remember.
And I mix all of them together in my head. And I know Charlie Swan, or the guy who plays Bella's dad in Twilight, is in one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there.
Why did you call him by his government name? Just that shot.
Because I'm just gearing up for a Twilight bracket. It's on the mind constantly.
Yeah, so fun.
Oh yeah, Matt Damon's the other lead, by the way. It's Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon, Heath Ledger. That's crazy. But yeah, I always think of that one. I don't remember what it's called, but I remember Charlie Swan's in it. I'm like, damn, he do be kind of killing.
Oh my god! And the dude from Pirates of the Caribbean who Glass Eye, he's in it.
Is Josh Hutcherson in one? I feel like I remember him being in it.
Yeah, he's in like the
he's in Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh yeah,
and
oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Damn, it's really Did that scare you
Well,
as a
that
kid? I read
scared
the
me as a
book.
kid because I thought I could never date her again. Because that was the point where
You thought
I
movies
think
were
I've said
real
this on the
and thought
podcast.
she really
I thought
died.
I thought she really died, and then they released a featurette where she was like singing because she tried to get a music career after it, and where she was singing some song. I can't remember it, and I was like, wow, this is such a sad moment that they're doing a memorial for her, and it's almost like she did her own memorial. So I could say that I was scared of it because I was scared I'd never find true love.
Actually, you know what? I'll throw another one out. Speaking of Josh Hutcherson, the movie RV. It didn't like scare me, but it really grossed me out as a child.
Yeah.
There's like a poop scene in it, I'm pretty sure, where like poop explodes from the RV.
Oh,
and
you
like
love poop.
I was just like, you know what? I'm not here for it.
That's really funny. That's like
Wow.
really, really funny.
Wow, he's so young.
Yeah, he was really small for a long time.
All right, Alex,
Like-
give us 2 of yours.
Yeah, I can do 2. I can actually probably do like 3 or 4.
I asked for 2.
Well, I'm giving you more than that.
Damn
we
it.
were talking about Fractured Fairy Tales, and that made me think of Hoodwinked.
That
Which-
scared you?
Oh.
N-
No, the
well,
animation,
no,
think about it.
It's the animation. So
Yeah,
I think a
think
lot of
about
the
it.
movies that I didn't like as a kid didn't necessarily scare me, but like I just didn't want to watch them because of the like uncanny valley of animation. So I'm thinking of like Hoodwinked, Monster House.
Famously Monster House. He's talked about it a
Hate
lot.
Monster House. Polar Express is another one that I hated, which an audience member said too. So
Shout
same.
out.
Yeah, I
Shout
was
out
going to
audience
bring that one up. Knowing your hatred for Polar Express,
Yeah.
you and that audience member are kindred spirits, or it's just your brother.
That could be my brother. Yeah. So you got 3 or 4 of them. I don't know. I don't know how many. I
It's
said.
just on the topic of Hoodwinked. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on the movie, but I feel like myself and my siblings had like a weird, not like attachment, because I couldn't remember a single plot beat really, other than like the Schnitzel guy. But like I feel like we
Schnitzel.
watched it a lot.
I watched it a lot.
Okay, so I hated the animation of Hoodwinked, but I thought it was such a fun idea. Like, it probably is a terrible movie. It probably does not.
No,
hold up
it's a
at
good
all.
movie. The
Really?
second one's bad.
Are
like,
you
shocking to
sure?
me
Are
that
you
it's
going to
still a
die
good
on
movie.
that hill, Jake?
I'm dying on the fucking hill that it's a good
When did
movie.
when did you last see Hoodwinked?
Don't ask me questions I'm not prepared to have answers.
I'm
for.
about
I think
to
we need to have
unload
a Hoodwinked live stream.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, we'll add
I
that to
just
the
think
list
Hoodwinked-
after the
Oh,
wedding stream.
Wow, wait, guys,
Hoodwinked had,
great
like,
bracket idea. Movies we used to think were good, or like movies we saw a long time ago that
Movies
were
we
good.
swear by.
Yeah, movies we swear were good.
That seems like a very fun idea. All I'm saying is, I feel like Hoodwinked might not hold up.
Okay, it had an undercover Grandy. It had a sleuth wolf. Like it had I just think Schnitzel guy, that
Yeah.
squirrel. No, it probably has tasteless jokes.
I think it has some really dumb, boring jokes that would make adults just groan, be like, "Why am I watching this?" But I think it also has like some really good structural things that are like really cool. Like I remember the wolf being such a fun, interesting character.
Yeah.
Just like a grizzled detective wolf that everyone thinks is the villain.
Yes.
So fun.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, I don't know. I'm not convinced.
It's gonna be your new favorite movie.
On the what? It'd be my new favorite movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a real Hoodwinked resurgence here in 2022.
Retweet if you love your mom or you're a hoodwinker. No one will know.
Just kidding. We know it's both. So actually, several of those Monster House ended up on the honorable mentions.
Oh wow! I didn't
Polar
see
Express
that.
ended up.
No,
on the
you had
honorable
like it's a
mentions.
very. I think that's a very real fear that people had.
So like animation was just not good.
It never really bothered me.
It never bothered me.
I actually have pretty fond memories of Monster House in particular. I remember it
But
being real
again,
fun.
we're not good. We're not
Wait,
good gauges for.
Do you guys remember the like Cartoon Network Halloween special? It was the same Uncanny Valley like animation where these kids are like dressed up in Halloween costumes and they like break into this like supposedly haunted house and they get sucked into Halloween World and there's like a Halloween World party and there's like a witch is hosting a party for a bunch of monsters and the kids
That
end up
sounds like
there.
the plot of that Scooby-Doo movie.
God, I'm gonna find what this was.
The
The Goblin King. But what were you saying, Matthew? As he
I just wanted to draw some attention to the Cat in the Hat.
As a great audience honorable mention from an audience member.
This is a film I swear by as being like a surreal nightmare if you watch it over the age of like 12.
No, it's one of those where I'm like, no one should have, like, anyone who was part of this production, I don't trust.
Cursed.
I don't trust them. Like, I literally, if I'm on a film set with you and you told me, yeah, I worked on Cat in the Hat, I would walk. I would walk because something's going down on that production and I don't want to be a part of it.
Okay. I've found the movie. Google Scary Godmother, Halloween Spooktacular.
Yeah, Scary Godmother was just a series. That was just that animation that was like a movie series. Movie. I loved those movies, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's more than just this one.
I remember this.
I love Scary Godmother.
The Spooktacular.
Yeah, the Revenge of Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation is kind of cursed though, but like
it's horrifying.
You don't remember that little boy, that boy with the devil horns? He's iconic. And the witch I had mixed feelings about because I was kind of attracted to her, but I was a kid.
Of course you were.
Look, I'm a consistent. I am a consistent. Why do you link us a link here?
Oh no. Oh no.
A24's Cat in the Hat.
I've been sitting on this for a minute.
Oh no. How long is this?
It's 1 minute long.
All right.
I'm watching it now. This is horrifying.
They like edited the
Yeah, ever since this video came out 5 months ago, it really changed my brain on how I think of Cat in the Hat. Which is not actually true. I think Cat in the Hat has been not good for a long time, but this just was icing on the cake.
People swear by this movie.
Do they?
Yeah. People swear by it.
That's a red flag.
Here's the thing. Mike Myers deserves jail time for this.
It's like if you sit down on a first date and your potential lover mentions that they swear by Cat in the Hat.
Well, you sleep with them for sure. You just don't marry them.
Oh, they're wild.
It's gonna be very, very good intercourse. Sorry for our underage viewers,
guys. I never asked my wife if she liked Cat in the Hat.
Can you do it right now? Actually,
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, babe, Marina. Okay, thank you. I have an important question for you. What do you think of Mike Myers' The Cat in the Hat movie?
It's kind of creepy.
Oh my gosh.
Thank God. We don't have to get a divorce.
Lawyers, stand down. Lawyers, stand down.
Okay,
love you.
Okay, love you too.
Love you.
Jake, we don't have a lawyer anymore.
We fired the lawyer? Oh, I bet they have health insurance now. I fucking hate it here.
I'm so happy for you, Alex.
I'm very happy.
You should be checking. Okay, this is a PSA, really, to everyone. Check if your significant other likes the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat.
Look, I think, this is something we really missed in our pre-wedding counseling. You're supposed to have those big conversations. Like, do you want kids? Like, when do you want kids? Like, where do you want to live? Like, are you stable in your job? Like, where do you think your career is going? Do you like the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat? Like, these are all important questions you need to ask.
Yeah.
And I just got lucky.
Alternatively, on your dating apps, you should also be vetting people out, but for a sexy fun time too. I think if you put "I like Cat in the Hat," that is code for I'm about to have. I will do anything and everything to have the BDSM dream of my life.
And or it means you're a tough cut viewer, and that's how you should find each other. Find love.
Trying to think if I know of any tough cut viewers that have slept with each other. That's going to be my personal mission.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Right,
I'm worried. I'm worried.
Jake's like, I want the cuties and the nasties to find love.
Oh, because there are factions. It's like, how they have that stupid Dark Theta, Light Theta thing. like sororities.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, this dude was too busy in fucking crypto. Jesus Christ.
He's too busy watching Bitcoin go up and down.
Print some cash. Too busy to
we
get
have the
lost in
tough
sorority
cuties
life.
and the nasties, and they're two factions of people who enjoy us for very different reasons.
Unironically
I think they
true.
should get together. We should write a movie.
Aw.
A little
Hey,
rom-com.
coming at you next bonus episode. Pitch a self-indulgent pitch where we fanfic our viewers
Yeah.
into love with each other instead of them writing fanfic.
And the
about
villain
us.
will be the fucking Transformers fan. It will be you.
Optimus Prime Rib. Speaking of Optimus Prime Rib, and maybe this is a good segue to get into some of those honorable mentions. We did get an email.
Oh god.
As always.
Oh my god, it says Alex's worst nightmare
This
as
is
the title.
This is a YouTube video that Optimus Prime Rib made.
2 weeks ago.
17 views.
They were primed. They
Optimus
were
Prime Rib is
primed.
showing this video to people.
Also, they have 1 subscriber. Who is it?
Okay,
Why do you continue to do this to me, Optimus Prime Rib? What have I done to spite you? Why?
You know what? I'm actually.
Why?
You know what? I love you, Alex. I'm gonna throw a bone to Optimus Prime Rib on this one. This one's kind of a goated joke.
It's just, it was the ending that really sold it
Yeah,
for
exactly.
me. Oh my god. Holy shit. Between A24's Cat in the Hat and this, god. we got
This has
some
1
talented
like.
people.
Who liked this? I want to know if he's like at his job around the water cooler and he's like, yeah, I harass these guys on a monthly basis. So you want to see the video I made for
You
them?
want to see the video I made? I showed 16 people.
I'm scared what this guy's like inevitably like on Reddit. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, you don't want to see his list
Yeah.
of subscribed subs.
ooh, god.
The description of this movie is just a little spooky one.
I feel like this guy would be like one of Riddler's incel followers in the Batman.
Damn.
We love you, but you know that you're a nasty, not a cutie.
True. He may be king of the nasty faction.
Yeah.
King Nasty.
We need to find him love. We need to find him
Oh,
love. Who's
God.
the ultimate cutie?
With that, running through a couple more of these audience honorable mentions, and then
Yeah.
we'll hop into our matchup here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so there's a couple of ones that came up from us as we walked through the bracket that audiences also mentioned. Namely, Spirited Away was a really big one.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's very cool.
Objectively, like it's one of those like kind of Pan's Labyrinthy. It is scary, but it's not like kind of meant to be scary. But it's also, yeah, I love that.
like
Love that.
the feeling of displacement as a kid. On that Josh Hutcherson train, we got Zathura.
You love Sorcerer.
Ooh. I mean, you're putting words in my mouth.
You love Sorcerer, you love Hoodwinked, and you love the Cat in the Hat. It's your holy trinity.
Osmosis Jones, Robots, which I assume is the like DreamWorks robots.
That's scary.
Is it
With the
Robin
Fanny,
Williams?
the fat ass, the
there's
BBL before
There's
BBL.
a BBL robot.
Yeah, wait, look it up. No, look up Fanny the robot
yeah.
in Robots. No, she
Private
packing.
browsing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she
She got that dumpy. Did you just
you know-
save that to your bookmarks? That all right
That's
was a
like-
little suspicious.
Cat's like, I keep this one for later. We kind of skated over Osmosis Jones, but if you like Osmosis Jones, go listen to one of our bonus episodes where we did a mashup of Twilight and Osmosis Jones, and I'm actually pretty happy with the sequel movie we came up with.
I think it's pretty good. I think it'd be pretty
Pretty great.
fun.
Yeah,
Great.
The 2008 Speed Racer, which I think is an interesting movie to be afraid of.
Thank you for specifying too. Shout out you.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
thank you. That level of specificity is what we need. The Last Unicorn, which I kind of get, kind of fun.
Is
Clockwork
Last Unicorn
Orange.
the one- Yeah, why were you watching that as a kid? Jesus.
Hey, you're right there with
you guys
me.
are not ones to talk like that.
Yeah, that's very true. I also saw Clockwork Orange when I was, probably like 12. Yeah,
That's
it's
fair.
still too young. But
Education, baby.
yeah.
The person that wrote Spider-Man
Yep.
in quotation marks.
Spider-Man, and like, did it specify a year?
What?
Did
I
it
wonder. I bet it's the first Tobey Maguire one.
But
yeah, because the scene where the building is burning down and then all of a sudden it goes rah, like with the Green Goblin, very
He's
scary.
scary.
But here's the thing: is it's specifically Spider-Man? Like it's in quotation marks.
That's very true.
What what does that mean?
Look, I don't want my brain to race too much about it because honestly, if I think about it, it's a man about spiders, and I don't like that shit. You know,
Norman's on sabbatical, honey.
True. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Edward Scissorhands.
No, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That guy is fucking terrifying. That main dude. Something about his.
Remember seeing ads for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on VHS or something while watching other movies as a child. And I'm like, I'm never seeing this movie. Get it out of here.
Very, very scary.
Yeah, I've never seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but it makes me think of other movies like that. Were you guys also scared of the dog in The Sandlot?
No.
That's scary. I mean, no, but like
I was.
One of my favorite picks on here for honorable mentions is someone said E.T., but not because of the pick itself, but because of that like really, really funny Hall of Fame tweet where it said, me and my friends would have beat E.T. with hammers, I'll tell you what. And then the tweet got deleted. And then someone screenshotted, like, now the tweet is deleted. And it's just, like, so funny to me. It's like, yeah, like, I watched E.T. and I was like, no, my friends would have beat him to death with hammers.
Honestly, depending the age me and my friends found E.T., we really vary what happened to him.
I only brought it up because I wanted to question if you wrote the tweet.
That was
2
me. I'm a
years
Hall of
really
Famer.
makes all the difference on that one, huh?
It really does. I mean, you know, one moment yourself and your friends are just like hanging out, goofing around. The next moment you're just like breaking shit in the woods with bats. Looking for E.T. to smash his little fucking head in. I'll break that weird ass finger. What the hell?
Clown hunting, more like E.T. hunting.
Oh my god! On that note, I'd be remiss in the childhood fear bracket. I was gonna do the original Tim Curry It. That like literally like as a kid, I feel like that's the epitome of it is so not scary now, but it like scared so many kids. Like I know so many like adults now who are like genuinely were scared of that. Even adults like older than we are, and I'm like, oh, that's like really cool. I think Tim Curry does a great job. That movie scared the shit out of me.
And then the final one that I'm going to call out at least, but Original Woman. I don't know what this is, and I tried to look it up, and I don't know if any you guys know what it is. If we can't find anything, thank you guys so much for your honorable mentions. They were sent to us on social media at Tough Cut Pod. We really, really appreciate it. If yours didn't get mentioned, we're sorry. We try to get to as many of them as we can, but obviously we only have so much time. Go ahead.
It wasn't Original Woman. It was the original Wolfman movies, and it was an auto typo.
On-air
really
typo. Ooh, someone's getting fired.
Yeah, and hopefully it's me, so I can seek health insurance.
Find a new job that's going to give you health insurance.
Yeah.
Because podcasting ain't cutting it. It's just expensive, dude. We don't got that shit in the budget. All right, with that, we should
thank
get
you guys,
into our
thank you guys
finale
so
matchup
much.
here.
Thank you guys so much for all the honorable mentions. We appreciate it. We appreciate the interaction. And if you have some movies that you could have sent in, you should follow us on our social media at Tough Cut Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. Nice. And TikTok? We have a TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm. We got all your favorites. With that, in our finale matchup here, two fantastical films that have got that sharp edge to scare plenty of kids, coming at you on one side of the bracket, triumphing over Saw 2 and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. We've got Pan's Labyrinth. And then on the other side of the bracket, beating out War of the Worlds, maybe the scariest movie ever made. And then Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Boo.
We have Coraline. Alex, do you want to go ahead and introduce Coraline?
Yeah, this time I'm going to read what Leica Studios has to say about Coraline.
You just switched it up every time.
Is it Leica Studios current? Like, you know, the fucking Knight Brothers? Or is it...
This is what's on their website about their movies.
Okay.
They have a section, Our Films, and this is the summary that they
Fuck you, Phil and Travis Knight. All right, continue.
Wandering her rambling old house in her boring new town, Coraline, parentheses Dakota Fanning, discovers a hidden door to a fantasy version of her life. In order to stay in the fantasy, she must make a frighteningly real sacrifice. And that's what they have to say. I like that they do parentheses Dakota Fanning. every
gotta
summary
sell
we've
them
had,
tickets.
Every summary we've had has had parentheses Dakota Fanning.
Hey, they're trying to get that name brand recognition. Nice. Jake, do you want to reintroduce for the maybe final time Pan's Labyrinth?
I sure do. Pan's Labyrinth, 2006, directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's still 1944. Allies have invaded Nazi-held Europe, parentheses Dakota Fanning, and it's
the
basically
lowest hanging fruit joke possible, and it still got a laugh out of me.
I was looking intently at Matthew, and I got what I came for.
Yeah, I'm like reading my notes, and I'm just like,
No, it's about 11-year-old Ophelia, who is in a really awful scenario in her real human world, but gets offered a escape to a wonderful magical world, but she has to complete these dangerous trials in order to get there. Yeah, that's it. And Dakota Fanning is not in the movie. I apologize.
Yeah.
I saw those Fanning heads.
yeah, it's the third faction on the Tough Cut, the Dakota Fanning fans.
Yeah, the Fannies. We've got the Nasties, the Cuties, and the Fannies. Fans of either Dakota Fanning or Fanny from Robots.
Fanny here for the robots, yeah. Which it's split into more factions. God, we
got
gotta
4
unite.
factions.
We gotta unite us. There's some unification that needs to happen.
True. So
The unification of the Tough Cut Pod.
what I'm gonna kind of call out, like right up top with these films,
Yeah,
is,
go for it.
Please do.
Thank you.
Go for it.
Do it.
Thank you.
Do it. Tell us.
Yeah,
Thank
come
you.
on.
Thank you.
Say it.
I'm excited.
Matt, come on, say it.
Oh.
Matt, just say it.
I'm trying
Matt,
to.
Matt,
I'm
say
trying
it.
to.
You're scaring
Okay.
him. You're scaring him.
I'm gonna.
So much for Big Brave Boy.
Is that I think in some ways these films are kind of thematic companion pieces. They
Yeah.
fit thematically really well together. They have
Absolutely.
overlapping themes in really nice ways, and then also contrasting themes in really nice ways.
Yeah.
And then also just from like a surface level sort of plot perspective,
Yeah.
they have some of those similar elements of kind of being whisked away to another world, or
Mhm.
battling your way through this other world. That I think
Literally,
is really
actually.
interesting. Yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
like kind of pound for pound. Like it's kind of wild that these two are going up against each other when you really break it down. It's kind of
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and I kind of just want to get a sense of like what you guys make of it, how they treat their sort of shared themes or similar themes, and how they treat their other worlds even.
Sorry that I started laughing. I just started thinking of like, oh, what if we did like a Coraline in Pan's Labyrinth and Ophelia in Coraline? And then I was like, okay, well that's not too big because they kind of just do that already. So what if like the monsters from Pan's Labyrinth were in Coraline? And I was like, oh yeah, would the Pale Man be scarier if he had buttons on his hands instead of eyes? It's like, no, definitely not.
No, he
Like,
wouldn't.
he already
No,
has a
he
thing with his
wouldn't.
eyes, and that's scarier than buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giggle.
Alex's brain is a lovely place. I love his little brain. I think it's great because I think Del Toro also stated how much like he loves Neil Gaiman, and obviously the book Coraline and the like movie Coraline. I love that these two come in the mediums that they do. Like I love that animation and stop motion specifically is used in such a way to invoke this fear, and also like it still brings kids in, even though animation is a medium, not like a genre for kids. And I think that Del Toro spoke on this a lot, especially recently with this whole Pinocchio thing about that and how effective that could be. But like in the inverse end, like Del Toro crafting this like world with like how amazing he is at like practical effects and like making these monsters, it almost feels like in this like weird way like an animation like bringing these characters to life in this really real way. And I think obviously having your two protagonists are these like little girls and trying to brave this world, and not like in their current world trying to brave the other. I think it's really telling that these like horror giants feel like our escape, because I feel like both of them view this in like kind of a positive-ish way. Like Del Toro's is a little bit more grim,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's really telling that you can have, like, they wanted to bring to life an imagination of this, like, of like a little girl in the ways that they did, but also that's scary because it's scary growing up.
Yeah.
I think they're both brilliant filmmakers, and it's really interesting that they're trying to convey almost the same message in like completely different mediums.
Yeah. So keying kind of directly into that, thematically, there is a tremendous amount of overlap in this theme of motherhood, or really parenthood in general, or maybe, figures of authority. I don't know exactly how you want to phrase it.
Yeah. Justice for Other Father. He's one of my favorite characters. I love him.
Yeah, exactly. In Coraline and in Pan's Labyrinth, there is kind of this somewhat complex web of motherly relationships and at play. And I think these movies, despite it being like an overlapped theme, deal with it in very different ways. Over the course of Pan's Labyrinth, Ophelia is kind of forced to grow up and becomes kind of the surrogate mother, first to like the little root baby, and then to her literal brother, who I guess she dies then before she can really do much. But the idea of like protecting a child, etc. Contrasted with, I think Coraline follows a curve of like having to grow up, but then like brought back down into like she still gets to be a kid, and like re-embraces her own parents in a way of like reverting back to childhood. And they, I just think it's really, really cool. Similar to their mediums of conveyance, are contrasting. Their takes on like the same type of theme are very different.
Sure,
there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Yeah, their conclusions, or at least where they want their protagonists to conclude, are different, but it can't help but feel similar in a way. Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah, totally. I think too, like, thinking about how the mediums work in these two movies and thinking about like, okay, what if they were switched, right? I think it adds to, the way that these movies conclude. Like Coraline in this stop motion animation, I think stop motion itself lends itself to some horror things sometimes, but it also like it alleviates some of it. It makes it very disarming in a way. Versus like, I think if Pan's Labyrinth were a stop motion animated movie, the fawn, I don't think would be as creepy as it is, right? Because like right now, I think part of the reason of why it's so creepy to me, at least, was the way that it feels otherworldly, because the makeup, like it is like kind of halting in its movements a little bit sometimes. Like it feels very otherworldly, versus if the whole movie was stop motion, I feel like it wouldn't have that same differentiation,
I feel like Coraline's able to capture this,
like kind of otherworldly.
Totally. But I'm just thinking like, I don't know. I guess I don't know where I'm going with this.
I feel like in Pan's, personally, I feel like part of the horror of it, like, yeah, otherworldly, sure, but I think it kind of also feels grounded in a way. Like the fawn like creaks as if it's like a tree when it moves, and it's almost familiar. And I think that's the same thing that Coraline does, where it's like it's literally almost to a T familiar, just quote unquote better. And then you realize that it isn't. And with like Pan's Labyrinth, a lot of things like it would be really cool if this thing existed, and it could be, and that's why it plays with our like sense, like, is this real, is this not, with what she's going through. But then when you start to slowly peel back the layers, you get shit like the Pale Man. It's like, why the fuck did you put me through that? And all that. Like, it starts to be like, oh, maybe it's scary. But they're very real still human things, like, greed, like, gluttony and all that stuff. Like it's still very teetering on the precipice of like otherworldly or not. And I think Coraline does that as well, pretty effectively. Because just having buttons for eyes, something about it, it's such a simple choice, but just something about just that, even when she first arrives, it's unsettling. Like it's very, very unsettling. Yeah.
And I think having buttons for eyes is such a good choice. I don't know if you saw the like HBO movie that came out last year sometime during the pandemic, and it was like Witches or whatever, which is also based on
the Road Doll. That's a Road Doll.
Mm-hmm. The one with the recent remake with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. And they have like the like 3 clawed hands instead of normal hands. But like that's so like having 3 clawed hands like poorly animated is such like a bad way to make people scary compared to like the buttons for eyes, right? Like that's such a good scary thing because I feel like too dolls are like a place of comfort for many children, but there's also like I think for adults something really scary about them sometimes. And
That's
so
there's like a study in horror where it's like you trying to make like something that seems familiar and safe in childhood, and like you're trying to pervert it and
Distort it.
Yeah, that's something that's like a really, really big thing that they try. That's why we're so scared of dolls. You know, we're so scared of like little girls in Victorian dresses, like as like, you know, ghosts and shit.
Yeah, I could beat the hell out of a little girl in a Victorian dress. Not scared of that.
Matt's got his baseball bat right there.
That's right. That's right.
Actually,
this is. Oh God! Wait, no, he's reaching. He has a. Why did you have that out?
Just in case I need it.
Okay.
Matt's got a sword just on the bed behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the guest bedroom, so you can have a lot of swords in here.
Sword
You
guest.
should have said it was
Sword
the
for the
guest
guest.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Some folks leave a Bible in their motels. Matthew
I leave a
leaves
sword.
A sword.
Like my guests never need to know if they need to defend themselves from an assailant, and that assailant is me training them.
Honestly,
Could you imagine you like go to visit a friend and you like stay in their guest bedroom and like in the middle of the night they creep in and try to attack you and they're like, "Good job, you defended yourself."
You've trained well.
That's really funny.
I expect you up bright and early tomorrow.
That's really funny.
Yeah, sorry to derail a conversation.
No.
I expect you brighten up early tomorrow because I'm making pancakes.
I'm
You
making
deserve
pancakes. They'll be delicious.
They'll be delicious.
I've got
I was also thinking we could go out to lunch.
Amazing.
nice. I've got bourbon barrel maple syrup. It's
Actually
really good.
amazing.
Anyway, so
Also take this shuriken.
and I've got a couple kunai as well.
That's amazing.
Eat up breakfast because then we're training.
So
What a dumb joke.
it's a very dumb joke. So obviously these movies have got a lot of similarities from like thematic components to structural components. They're girls with some level of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction's probably a little bit of an understatement in Ophelia's case. But all the same. And then they get 3 tasks that they've got to complete by, you know, an
By a
otherworldly
timeline,
figure. In order to, for Coraline, return to her original world, for Ophelia to escape her world, which we've touched on a little bit, but is a really, really important distinction of where they leave their characters and like what their characters are striving for. And, you know, what do you guys make of that? Like, what those end states are different in really important ways. Ophelia's desire to escape to another world, despite all that she's seen, where Coraline wants to return to her world, like because of what she's seen. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think like at the end of the day, Coraline, you know, like her family situation is shitty, but not nearly in the same way, right?
Yeah.
Like Ophelia is living through true horrors, whether or not she like processes them, you know, like she is living through hell.
Right. And Coraline feels that her things are very, I mean, it's very dramatic,
right.
like
it's
privileged, very, you know, American
right.
teen,
Like it's,
but
they're very real and like very, you know, relatable issues, but they're not on the same level, right? And I think like part of why that transition of like Coraline is so much about like returning home, like choosing to return and be with your family, is to be like, okay, like you're unhappy with this situation, but like this is a normal situation and like you can strive to make this situation better.
Sure.
Versus in Pan's Labyrinth, it's like she is living through stuff that is completely out of her control, right? She has no way of solving any of those problems. Like escape is the only option for her.
or like even going toe to toe with the pale man is a, you know, and whatever it takes to escape the circumstance is preferable to like the horrors of war, humanity, your sadistic stepfather, and kind of all of this other stuff. Yeah, I think it also like, I think it's a really good point. It ties back to sort of the overarching film of like, or the overarching theme that she is being forced to grow up, and the only possible way to escape it is to choose to leave, basically.
Yeah.
But like all of that being said, you know, and I think this is part of why like Pan's Labyrinth, I think, is a movie for everyone. But it like, I don't think war is something that is easy for kids to comprehend,
Yeah.
And I guess it depends what age we're talking about too. But like, I don't know that the horrors of war as shown in this movie are fully comprehensible to
Well,
like a child
They're
watching.
also
here's
mostly
my-
implied horrors,
Yeah.
like we're not really
Yeah.
like seeing towns slaughtered or,
Mhm.
like
The only real
fascists
I feel
rounding
like,
people up.
Well,
You know?
okay,
Yeah.
but here's my argument with that. It's like, yes, that may be true for a lot of us, but I feel like
Yeah, that's true.
a lot of kids have had to grow up very, very fast in a lot of different places.
Yeah,
And
that's totally
even
true.
if it's not just like war torn stuff, like understanding war, a lot of kids, like even just, in the US or whatever, had to deal with a lot of intense, like whatever things. Like me personally, like I may not have understood what war was exactly and going on, but like went through some tough shit, so I could understand how homegirls going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
or
fair.
just understanding the hatred and like bigotry. Like, you can understand that fucking Captain Vidal is a fucking atrocious motherfucker and scary, like having an adult scary figure in your life. Like it's scary. And I think that like not just I think Pan's Labyrinth does such a good job because honestly, as a kid, yes, the I did it because Pale Man's scary, whatever. I was also really scared of Captain Vidal.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
like
also
a big
by design.
by design. I mean, it is by design, but I'm talking as like a childhood fear bracket. Like I was still scared of him, and I think it's a lesson for kids if they watch Pan's Labyrinth. Be like, okay, you saw all the scary but also fantastical whatever shit. Why are you more scared of the real life, like human, like authority, whatever figure person? And I think it's a really beautiful thing. Not to discredit Coraline by any means. I think it's very effective at what it does. As well, I think Pan's is a little more all encompassing than maybe our pool of thought.
What do you mean by that? You mean it's more relatable?
Yeah, more
than you mean
relatable.
all encompassing.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good point, and I definitely, looking at the way that I was thinking about that movie, I'm definitely coming at it from a place of privilege of like I had a very lucky, like nice childhood and didn't have to deal with scary adults, and like I didn't have that issue very much.
Yeah.
So I think you're definitely right about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think something also really interesting about these two movies is that they both like bring other people outside of it like kind of into it, or they attempt to, like the whole like Ophelia sacrifice stuff, because like they were like kill the baby, you gotta kill the baby. And then like Coraline's like there are other ghost children in there, the other mother takes her parents inside it, and kind of the decisions, like I think that's one of the key differences in that, like what it does. Like Coraline didn't, or Coraline, the other mother, wanted her like, you stay here and then you could stay here, it's gonna be all great, and then I'll let all the other people go. Where in Pan's they're like, kill the baby, but she's like, no, I'll just kill myself and stay there, and then like it'll be great. So I think it's like interesting, those two like depictions of like kind of like, okay, your family and all these other children are gonna be it, or oh, you're gonna have to, kill a child, kill an innocent to like stay in this place. Kind of like what the goal of like the place is and what the fear is. Because Pan's Labyrinth one promised it to be good. Coraline's promised it to be good, but was revealed that it was ultimately a false promise, that it was bad. I don't think Pan's Labyrinth, it's kind of up to us if it's really a bad place or not. The other place.
Yeah. I mean, again, some of that I think hinges on what your interpretation of the ending of the film is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because I think the film goes pretty far. I mean, Pale Man fucking getting his groceries in the other world. You're gonna run into him, like how he keep that buffet stocked.
Yeah, what happens if you're at the grocery store with the Pale Man and there's like one can of beans left, and you're in the aisle before him and you grab the can of beans, and then he's just like and chases after you, like. What you gonna do when the Pale Man in the grocery store with you?
Give him a little kiss.
I don't know.
Shit,
maybe
fair.
show him around.
He needs a seeing eye child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
I'm still kind of stuck on Pale Man with buttons in his hands. Do you think there's like merch, like a
I
Pale
think
Man
you
doll
could probably
with buttons
draw
in his hands?
something that's still scary and like kind of really interesting. Honestly, I'm wondering just from this conversation if people have compared these two movies, because they are very similar and like it's a very interesting conversation.
I'm sure people have. I'm sure there's like some
or we're the
academic,
first and we're groundbreaking.
We're gonna look it up, and like there's gonna be like 100 like academic papers being like two sides of the same coin. ethereal
Cinematic
souls
soulmates.
connect. Yeah.
Spirited Away, Pan's Labyrinth, and Coraline.
Yeah, I mean, Spirited Away is
There you go.
another perfect example of this. We all want to be whisked away. Okay, well, then when it goes down to it, because we're coming close to time and stuff, childhood fear bracket. These all have beaten juggernauts to get to where they're at. We have to make a decision on what best resembles childhood fear. And, kind of, we've had almost different-ish, at least I'm speaking for myself, criteria of, like, kind of how we're voting going on. And these are two movies up against each other where we have to make a decision. What best encompasses, like, what do we crown best childhood fear movie?
It's really tough. And, like, you're there's, like, a lot of considerations to juggle. I think, like, outright frightening elements, imagery, things of that nature, Pan's Labyrinth kind of absolutely has it. There are just, like, outright far more frightening moments and creatures and things.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, though, Coraline, I think, is a much more approachable film for children.
Sure.
It is in part more aimed at that demographic, probably by nature seen by more actual children.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think it's really tough. And they're also both, like, just objectively fantastic films.
Well-made, fantastic movie. It's not like, there are fun picks for the childhood fears bracket.
Well, and something that I'm thinking about too that you were kind of getting to, Matt, is like, yes, Pan's Labyrinth is, I think, objectively the scarier movie. But this is not like the fears bracket. This is the childhood fears bracket. So are the things that are scary in Pan's Labyrinth specifically scary to children, or are they just generally scary? Are the things in Coraline specifically scary to children, or are they generally scary? Like, yes, I agree that the things in Pan's Labyrinth are scarier. Are all of them things, though, that are like childhood fears, right? Like war, I don't think is a childhood fear. It's scary.
Could be.
It could be. It could be. I think for a lot of children in the world, maybe, who have, like, been through war. But, like, that, I think war is scary to anyone who's been through war, right? Like, that is not a childhood fear.
Sure.
Bad parent, bad adult, that's something that's a childhood fear. That's a scary thing to children, for sure. But what I'm trying to balance is which one is childhood fear? Because I think it's a difference.
I guess... Go ahead, Jake.
Well, no. I want to hear your thought, actually. Go for it.
My thing with that concept, though, is there feels something that's, like, inherently reductive to call a particular fear, like, just a fear for children.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I don't think, not necessarily like a specific fear for children, but I think there are fears that are, like, much more, I guess,
like you're saying, like,
children.
For example, there's a very, like, on the cuff example, like, I'm scared of growing up as a kid, or I'm scared of puberty, but, like, a fully grown adult should not be scared of puberty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a very crude example, but, like, a very specific I'm scared of going into high school, my next grade. If you are an adult doing that, please be arrested. But, like,
imagine a 30-year-old man. He like never graduated high school. His son is enrolling, and then he's like, "Guess what, Jim? I'm coming to high school with you." And then you and your dad are in high school together.
That sounds like a Disney Channel.
That feels like a Disney
movie.
Channel movie. Matt, Jake.
Yes!
Yeah, but imagine if your dad is more popular.
Let's write that script. I mean, isn't that 17 again?
That is it.
Wait, isn't that the movie 17 again with Zac Efron?
But he's physically 17. He just has a brain of 30.
Yeah, but not in his image. He thinks.
I'm saying you and your dad, your 30-year-old dad is actually in school.
Sorry, I'm trying to, like, prepare you for the pitch meeting where a producer's like, "Isn't that 17 again?" And then you're like, different.
You're like sitting there, and
it's actually the dad.
You're sitting there in AP US or no, your dad. You're like getting your class assignments or your placement test, and dad's like, AP US history's this way. Sorry,
and then,
regular.
Yeah,
dad becomes more popular
better at school than
he's
you.
more popular.
Yeah, he's like star of the baseball team.
Yeah,
and he's like a
really
fully
funny.
developed grown man.
That's great.
And he's just like slamming home runs against 15-year-olds, and everyone's like,
yeah, go Tony's dad.
That's really funny.
And then meanwhile, you're just like in the, I don't know, like nerd club.
Sorry, you're in the nerd club. Sorry, yeah. No, I love it. Here's kind of where I'm at with it. I kind of see what Alex means. I'm kind of getting like the whole. So I don't know. It's hard because I was both these kids. You know, like in a, obviously not specifically, but I was both these kids. I was looking for like a way out, or I was looking to like not wrap my head around change. And I wanted to escape to a different world. So watching these two movies, I was like, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough one. And I also, I guess, just up top, I'm sure this is true for all of us, but like a vote for one is not necessarily like a condemnation of the other.
Oh,
or saying
they're
that,
both
like,
good. They're both
that it's
so
not like
good.
Hate both these
valid
movies.
to be afraid of these as a child. I know you do, Jake. We forced you to watch them.
Before mandatory viewing.
Hey, I want to say up top before we vote. Thank you guys for your pitches for this one for not doing body horror.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Saw 2 a little bit, but like not even that's like not as bad as other things we've watched.
No.
So I just want to thank you for not.
Look, we've
putting
seen
me
some
through
fucked up
bad
shit,
things.
but like I can take apart like this was a childhood fear and this is like just a bad decision. Like as a kid, you know, like that's. I could take those two apart. It's totally fine.
Should we do it?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'll start us off. This is really, as we've said several times, it's really, really tough. I think you made some really, really fantastic points in favor of Pan's Labyrinth here, Jake. However, in fully acknowledging this is probably like horrifically biased, but just in the way that I view what a childhood fear is,
Mm-hmm.
Coraline just fits that a little bit better.
Yeah.
It is a movie that like I knew a lot of kids growing up that were scared of. I mean, you know, my little brother was afraid of it, despite the fact that my sister and I loved it.
Yeah. And you bullied him, I remember.
Bullied a lot of people.
You
Me and
were
Toby's
the
dad
fear.
were fucking tight.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm gonna put my vote, but that's by no
Sure.
means to say I don't think Pan's
Yeah.
Labyrinth is frightening to children.
Yeah, no, of course.
Or not intended for children. I think it is a movie for many.
I actually was going to vote for Pan's Labyrinth on this one, which I think is a little surprising coming from me. But thinking about the things that I was really scared of as a kid, I was like the good kid. Like I didn't really act up in school after second grade. Okay, actually, this is a fun tangent. In second grade, I used to be like a fun, loud kid. I would crack jokes, make people laugh in class. And my second grade teacher, Miss Donnellan, putting her on blast. She was horrible to me. She took my desk and set my desk away from all the other students and put it next to her desk on the other side of the classroom. And she bullied me. And I became like this shy, quiet kid in class. And so like one of the scariest things to me growing up was like upset adults. And so I think for that reason, I need to vote for Pan's Labyrinth in this one.
Well, look, I made the comments that I made both for Pan's and for Coraline. Like I was both these kids. And both like these are two movies that are near and dear to my heart and whatever. For childhood fear, the person who I am today, who I am now, I would hope that I spoke a lot about this. If anything, I'm being philosophically consistent for Matthew. I spoke a lot about this. I love the positive evolution for childhood fears and what happens where you look back on something as a kid and you're like, oh, that wasn't as scary. Like I made it through, or like, dude, I had a positive outcome. So while I love Pan's Labyrinth and the fears that it did and everything that it showed in this very specific, really hard reality, I'm this is a hopeful vote for Coraline because I love that its conclusion kind of reflects kind of the being grateful as a kid. And I like that lesson from my childhood fear more than the other one. With that, Coraline win. This is a fantastic matchup. I didn't know genuinely where I would be at it. It literally recording this, Matthew's surprised face with my Coraline vote, and it was real. These are both great. I mean, if you had a childhood fear, one, thanks for submitting your honorable mentions, but also look, things are scary when we're kids. Things are scary as adults, but we grow from them, and it's really awesome to have childhood fears come full circle and let's be like, we literally were able to watch them now and we didn't have any nightmares that I know of.
Hey, you know what we forgot to mention up top? We got a new bracket to reveal.
Shit, man.
Oh my gosh.
We do.
That we do. which is
Yeah.
very exciting because every finale comes with a new announcement. The next Tough Cut podcast bracket is going to be the family bracket. Note, I didn't say family movies. This isn't things for the family.
Families.
This is movies about family.
Family.
You know,
just in time for Thanksgiving.
your favorite families in movies. You love
The Croods.
Oh man!
Why didn't we pick the Croods?
I gotta change my picks. Coming at you on episode 1, though. Coming at you next episode. If you want to watch along with us, we've got Furious 7 versus Spy Kids 2.
Oh my god, that's
in the
gonna be
first
so
half of the
great.
bracket, and then Lilo and Stitch versus Hereditary in the second half of the bracket.
Wild matchups.
Which should be really, really fun. So look forward to that coming at
Just
you
in
next
time
week.
for the holidays. Thanksgiving's coming up.
Just in time.
You know,
Yeah.
does your family remind you of the Hereditary family? Let us know in the comments.
True. You should feed your younger sibling cake they're allergic to.
Spoilers for Hereditary.
That little sister laugh,
like
man.
that.
Yeah, so that should be a really, really fun bracket. So look forward to that. Beyond that, if you enjoyed today's show, make sure to rate and review us on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, wherever you listen to us. Follow us on social media at Tough Cut Pod. We're on all of your favorites. If you enjoyed today's episode, you should share it with
A cat in a hat.
You should. Okay, honestly, tough cuties, tough nasties. It's okay.
Share it with each other. Share it with each other. Find
Find
love.
love.
Dude.
Find
if you're,
love
if you're
in the
a-
face of
if-
fear.
If you're a cutie, find a nasty, send them the episode.
If you're a
This-
cutie,
and
find
and,
a
and if you're a Tough Cut listener, you know what that means. You know that that's an invitation to get
Wait,
down.
You know what? If you're a cutie, send this to someone who doesn't listen to the podcast, but who you think would be a nasty. And if
Ooh.
you're a nasty, send this to someone who doesn't listen to the podcast who you think would
God,
be
my
cute.
DMs are about to blow up. Why you gotta do that?
Yeah, that's the pain of being an anonymous, famous podcast
Yeah.
host. Is people they're like, "Damn, you would really like this show. It sounds exactly like you."
Not thematically, just something about their voice is like really, really similar.
It reminds me of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all use a voice changer, though.
Yes, my real voice sounds like this.
All right, now that the episode's over, a couple British schoolboys going back to the